Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, the market has certainly changed in the last year, and it's causing some people to wonder if their homes will sell quickly and of course, at a good price. Many home sellers want to bet on the sure thing, a cash buyer versus selling to a buyer that needs to get a loan. So help us with this, Barb. How would a home seller go about that process?
Well, Richard, people don't sell homes very often, and most of them don't know how it works. They don't really do it often enough to even think about it. And sometimes if you have done it in another state, it could be different here. So the assumption for the cash offer program, though, is that they assume that the seller is going to have to take a lot less money to take those offers. It's a little less, and the fees are a little bit higher, but there's got to be a monetary value of convenience, not dealing with buyers coming through your house, not worrying whether or not the buyer's going to get their loan and get to the finish line. And some of these offers are pretty darn close to full market value in my view. So I've sold probably just in the past few months about a half dozen properties completely off market through one or two of these different cash investors, and they make the process very easy. Now, in general, if you sell a home the traditional way and you're targeting top dollar and you're targeting a live in the house buyer, it's going to take time, it's going to take preparation, and there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. It's also a large project. I mean, you have to kind of declutter the home, get everything show ready. You have to make sure things are not broken. There's quite a bit of work to it. And, we try to make it as simple and as smooth as possible without any surprises. But every deal has something. It's not too common that everything goes just perfectly. It's just the nature of it. There's probably 40 different people involved with a real estate sale in general. So there's always things that happen. And the key is to just work through the problem. So step number one for a traditional sale or either choice with us, if you want to explore the cash offer thing, you meet with an agent, right? Generally 2 to 6 months before you plan to sell. And then what we do, if you're going to do the traditional live in the home type buyer, is we're going to give you tips on what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale. I'll give you an example. I just sold a home over in the Indigo Ranch neighborhood, beautiful ranch home, very, very well cared for. And we first met in July, I believe. And we started with the tips on what to do, what not to do. Their plan was they were downsizing to a much smaller condo in Florida. So they certainly weren't going to take all that. They're going from a 3,000 square foot home to maybe 1,000 square foot home. That's a big difference. And they weren't going to take all that furniture with them. So they really wanted to know, okay, which pieces do I leave here when I'm showing it? What do I do? What do I not do? So we worked with them. We brought in an interior designer stager. She gave them a checklist room by room by room on what to do. And then I said, since you're planning to go on the market in the fall, let's meet back up again right before you go on the market to make sure the pricing of what we discussed the first time had not changed, and it actually had. So when we met the second time, we had a really good discussion about it. I'm like, okay, you're moving to Florida, your daughter's having a baby. You can't wait 3 or 4 months to sell your house. You're going to have to price it very, very realistically. So they decided on that, and it actually sold the first day. They weren't underpriced in my view. I think they were priced exactly at market value, but it was all the preparation, getting the photos right, getting all that done in advance was the result, which we ended up getting the seller $10,000 over asking price, and it sold in just one day. So It's really great when those things work out that way. And I say more often than not, it happens. Um, but first, we're going to talk about any improvements that might be needed on the house. We'll discuss your goals. And then we're going to basically bring you kind of what the market's doing for that type of home, and then give you an in-home consultation to get ready for photo day. And that includes what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale. I get questions a lot on, well, should I, replace the water heater with a tankless water heater? And it's weird. The plumbers and the inspectors will deem a water heater as being dead after they're 12 years old. And it's not always the case. Like, water heaters actually last a little bit longer when they're on well versus city water. I had one plumber tell me, yeah, 2 to 6 years on a water heater. I'm like, that's 2 to 6 years. That's not very much time. Ours lasted 21 years. But so let's say you're going on the market and the water heater is at the end of what they call their useful life. There are some inspectors that'll come along and go, well, you should just replace it. We have solutions and we get them ready. And, they don't necessarily have to go out and buy a new water heater. And they're getting expensive, by the way. Last time I priced it just for an average water heater, it's over $2,100. I've seen anywhere from $2,100 to $3,200 for a water heater. That's kind of a lot of money. So if they're still working, you don't need to fix it. However, we have other solutions that we can help our home sellers. So they're prepared if that request happened when the buyer's inspector says, hey, water heater's old, we want a new one. We can counter that request and come up with something more reasonable. But the good news is, if you don't want to deal with any of that stuff, we show up with anywhere from a half dozen or more cash offers on your home. Some of them are really simple. Like, you take pictures, the buyer comes through once, they spend 10 minutes there. They establish a final price, you accept or reject. And then if you accept, you pick your closing date. It could be as soon as 2.5, 3, 4 weeks, whenever you want to close. You can even stay in a couple of more days after it closes. So it gives options so you don't have to deal with all of the uncertainty that happens with the traditional sales process. And I call it the easy button. It's kind of like CarMax sells homes, or I'm sorry, say that again. It's kind of like CarMax when they sell cars. If you've ever done that, you put your car up and you give it mileage just online, and they go, here's your price, bring it down. So you schedule an appointment, you go down there, and if it looks like what you said, they offer you the same amount. You give them the keys, sign it over, you get the check that day. It's awesome. It's almost that easy. Takes a little bit more time, obviously, with the house, but there are options like that to simplify the process. And some people just don't want to deal with the traditional sales process. But if you do, we try to maximize your money. We have 16 different key systems. They're all focused on creating demand. We market all over the place. We have to get things like marketing and pricing right. Otherwise, your house is going to sit on the market for a long time, minimum 93 days right now in El Paso County, and about the same, actually a little bit longer up in Teller County. And some sellers are worried, okay, what if I made a mistake? I recently took over a listing from somebody where she was committed till this date, and she was very concerned about, well, if he didn't perform the way that they had expected, what if I cancel? She contacted me, and I said, yeah, you just have to get it in writing. Don't worry about it. But there is something in the state agreements that says that if the agent didn't perform according to what they promised, either verbally or in writing, you have the right to cancel. So a lot of people feel like they're locked into these long agreements, and they're really not if the agent failed to perform. And we have different systems and processes, so you know what's going on every single step of the way. And we help you prepare this home for sale. We market to our buyers. We show you our cash offers. There's all kinds of solutions for you to choose. And that way you know exactly what's going to happen. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice, and the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
We're talking, Barb, about many of the homes in Colorado, the Front Range, Colorado Springs, of course, but you have got some hot new listings. Tell us about them if you would.
I do. I have a really cool fiveplex down by Fort Carson that's priced in the mid fours. I've got a couple of properties. Actually, we're getting more and more of these properties that are now owned by the VA. So they represent really good deals. These homes are priced very realistically. And we've got several of those. One of them's on Fay Drive. We have a great home that's over 2,800 square feet on Ithaca Street in Fountain. We've got another VA property that's priced in the upper threes. We've got a beautiful home over by Doherty High School at 409,999. New listing we're going to be featuring this weekend from 1 to 2 on 7131 Hunter Jumper Drive. It is a home with a small lot, so it's newer, it's vertical, beautiful finishes, but great for somebody that doesn't want to take care of yards and priced in the mid fours. I have another gorgeous home in Briargate that's got gleaming hardwood floors and granite counters and stainless steel appliances. Really nice home with great Pikes Peak views, and also a spectacular home in Sunbird Hills, priced at 1.599. This home is really configured for somebody that really has in-laws living with them, because the main level has 3 bedrooms, I think 3 baths, gorgeous views, and a 2-car. But then you can drive around the side and you've got another big garage that'll hold 3 more cars and a whole beautiful living room and, living space downstairs, plus a basement that you can really enjoy there. And people can have their own private spaces. I also have a beautiful home in Rock Rimmon on 7830 Delmonico Drive. Gorgeous west side property with the deer and the bear wandering around, priced in the low sevens. A couple of beautiful lots. I have one on 1379 South Mountain Estates Road. This beautiful lot is priced at 70,000, plus one down at Fountain, South Fountain at 65,000. Lots of acreage there. And if you are thinking of making a move and you would like to know all about all of our properties, you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com and just click on our featured homes, and we share them there as well. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, you want to call us 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program and owner proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, stay warm, stay safe, have a great weekend and a great week. We'll talk to you soon.